Hi, this is Bronislava for HandMadeRukodelky. In today's video, I will demonstrate how to crochet a moss stitch, which is usually done with a half double crochet and a slip stitch. However, I will use a single crochet and a slip stitch according to an image that one of my YouTube followers sent me. In this video, I will actually show you two versions. One, when we are doing swatch for crocheting in a round, and then one swatch where we are crocheting back and forth. Okay, for each of these swatches you need odd number of stitches. Okay, so do crochet odd number of stitches for your project. So I did 21 chain stitches, and now we will connect it into circle. So again, we are doing a swatch where you're crocheting in a circle. Okay, before you start this stitch, you need to have actually a base. Okay, so I will crochet, and in this stitch I will crochet, in my first stitch I'll crochet a single crochet stitch. So that's my first stitch over here, and then I will crochet 20 more single crochet stitch. So that is going to be my base. So if you're working with your project, make sure that you have odd number of single crochet stitches all around. This is where we started, okay, and this is my last stitch. Okay, and this was my first stitch. Okay, so, and you can go and count your stitches to make sure that you have odd number of stitches, that you do not end up with even number of stitches. Okay, and our first stitch is going to be a slip stitch, because we will be now alternating slip stitch, single crochet stitch, slip stitch, single crochet stitch. All right, and I will put a little marker over here between my stitches. This is where I'm starting. This is the end, and this is my starting point. Okay, so here I will go and make a slip stitch, and we will do it first this way. Okay, we will go under both legs over here. So this is going to be my slip stitch. Okay, but as you see, this is my first stitch, the slip stitch. Okay, now we will do second stitch is going to be single crochet. We will do again slip stitch. And again single crochet stitch. So as you see, I am alternating slip stitch and single crochet stitch, slip stitch, and be careful, because I have, when I was trying this pattern, I have done a couple times that I would repeat single crochet stitches instead of slip stitch, single crochet stitch, slip stitch, single crochet stitch. Okay, because it can actually make you a little bit confused. So here we need to do slip stitch. So don't talk to anybody when you're working on this pattern, because you can make mistakes. Okay, you have to concentrate on this one. Okay, this is my last slip stitch, And you remember when we worked this is slip stitch also. So right here we need to do a single crochet stitch into this first slip stitch. That's why we need odd number of stitches. So you start with slip stitch and you finish with slip stitch in the first row. In the second row you will start with single crochet stitch and you will also end up with single crochet stitch. Okay, let's go and move our marker. Okay, so we know where is our beginning. And again, if you go and look at our stitches, they are kind of like a zigzag. Slip stitch is slanted down and single crochet up. Slip stitch down, single crochet up. All right. Now we will proceed as such. We need to make a single crochet stitch in the back of the slip stitch. So you need to turn this work down a little bit and notice that there is a stitch kind of all the way down in here, right below the slip stitch. Okay, so you will go and grab, do yarn over, grab it and pull it up and make a single crochet stitch. And then where you had your single crochet stitch, you need to make a slip stitch. And we will go under both legs. Okay, and we will make single crochet, slip stitch. We will make slip stitch, not single crochet, slip stitch. Now this is our slip stitch, so we will turn this down again. We will go in the back and we will pull that yarn and we will make a single crochet stitch. Now this is our single crochet stitch and we will make slip stitch. Okay, this is our second row and we will continue like this all around. This is our single crochet stitch and slip stitch under both legs. Single crochet stitch in the back. Slip stitch under both legs in the front. Continue like this all the way to the end of your row. And I'm crocheting very loosely, okay? Oops, this is supposed to be slip stitch. So watch your stitches, okay? Watch your stitches. Don't make mistake. This stitch is very easily, you can make a mistake very easily, okay? Okay, and do you see? We started with a single crochet stitch and we're ending up with single crochet stitch here. Okay. Now we will again move our marker and we will start with slip stitch. So we crocheted our single crochet stitch in the back. So now we need to crochet slip stitch under both legs. Okay. And this is our, right underneath our marker is our first stitch. And now again we need to go in the back of our slip stitch and make single crochet stitch. And slip stitch. In the back, single crochet stitch. And you repeat this all around. And again, I am crocheting kind of loosely because I think I have a too small crochet hook. So you just make sure that you have proper hook for proper yarn, okay? So let me again explain to you what is happening. As you see, I am crocheting single crochet stitches into the back of the slip stitch, which is going, the slip stitch is going kind of down, right? So in the back over here, okay, there is a loop right behind that slip stitch. So you don't use neither one of these two legs, okay? You have to go in the back. You will go and see it. It's almost like between those two stitches, okay? So that's where I am placing my single crochet stitch. And then after I do my single crochet stitch, and let me do it right now, then I go in under these two legs of my single crochet stitch from previous row, okay? And I make my slip stitch there. So I go and make a slip stitch. And again, this is my slip stitch from previous row. So I go in the back and I see my loop over here and I make single crochet stitch. And I started with single crochet stitch in this row and I finished. So this was my single crochet stitch and I need to make my slip stitch. So I'm starting new row with slip stitch. And you alternate these two rows, okay? And basically what happens is that you create like a kind of like a very thick pattern. Okay, so look how it is. When you're crocheting in the round, this is how it looks. This particular stitch can be used for all different kinds of projects. Okay, you can use it for amigurumi, you can use it for making a purse, you could use it for making a coat, a thick vest for cold nights, because this stitch is nice and thick. It's really, really thick. So this is the sample that I wanted to show you how to do in the round. And let's go and do it now in back and forth, okay? So let's explore this stitch, how it's done back and forth, okay? And again, I started my chain stitches and I have 13 chain stitches in here. And I will go and make my first stitch, single crochet stitch, in my second chain stitch from the hook. 1, 2. And then I will make 11 more stitches. So I will have actually 12 single crochet stitches as my base. And you should have you should have an even number of stitches when you have your base single crochet stitch. You start with odd number of chain stitches, but your base single crochet stitches need to be even, okay? And in my case, I will have 12 single crochet stitches. I had 13 chain stitches, but 12 single crochet stitches. All right, so here I am finished with my 12th single crochet stitch. We will turn around. Okay, we will turn around. Let me go and have this yarn in the back actually. Okay, and what I will do here, I will make slip stitch in my first stitch. And again, I will work loosely, okay? So I don't want that slip stitch to be too tight because I will go in that stitch later on. So slip stitch is first stitch, and then is single crochet stitch. Slip stitch, and again, I go under both. In a first row, I go under both legs, okay? So this is my slip stitch, and under both legs, single crochet stitch. Slip stitch, and single crochet stitch. Slip stitch, single crochet stitch. Slip stitch, single crochet stitch. Slip stitch, and we will finish with single crochet stitch. Okay, so basically what we do is we start with slip stitch and end up with single crochet stitch. In our third row, we will do it a little bit differently than in our second row, and we will basically repeat the third row over and over, okay? So instead of going under both legs each time, we will go under both legs only when we're doing a slip stitch, and our first stitch is supposed to be slip stitch. So we will go and make slip stitch under both legs, and then we will go into the back loop of the stitch, and we will make a single crochet stitch. Why are we going into the back loop? Only because there is no other horizontal line over here, okay? So that's why we need to go into the back loop. And then the next stitch is our slip stitch, so we go under both legs, okay? And then the next one is again single crochet stitch, so we go through the back loop. And slip stitch under both legs, single crochet in the back, and repeat all the way to the end, okay? And single crochet through the back, and slip stitch under both legs, single crochet through the back, and then we will go and do slip stitch under both, and we go and make our last stitch single crochet through the back loop. We turn, and again we do the same thing. We go under both legs, we make a slip stitch, okay, and through in the back loop we do the single crochet stitch and slip stitch and single crochet stitch, and repeat many rows, as many rows as you need to, okay? So let me go and do a few more rows, and then I will show you how it looks. So as you see, I made a little swatch over here, and let me show you one more time the row, how it's done, okay? And again, we start with a slip stitch, okay? slip stitch, and I'll crochet loosely, okay, very loosely. Then this is going to be single crochet stitch in the back loop and slip stitch under both loops, both legs, and single crochet stitch and slip stitch. Now the slip stitches usually end up slightly smaller than the single crochet stitches, and you see it over here. So don't skip it, because if you make it too tight you may overlook it, okay? And that's where your single crochet goes. So single crochet goes into a slip stitch from previous row, and slip stitch goes into a single crochet from previous row, okay? So single crochet in a slip stitch and slip stitch in a single crochet. And this is our last one, and that's supposed to be single crochet stitch. Okay, now as I am crocheting, it kind of pulls in because of those slip stitches, okay? But don't worry about it, because you can stretch it and it will be perfect, okay? You will have it nice and even. And another thing that is really beautiful about this particular pattern is that it's reversible. Okay, that's all for today. I hope you learned something new from this video. I thank you to all of you for being subscribed. If you are, if not, please subscribe. Thank you very much for watching, and thank you for sharing my videos, all right? And I will see you, or rather you will see me another time.